Hey there. So today I'm taking a look at the Jaymz Monsoon, specifically the Ball Shredder Edition. I stumbled onto this guy's YouTube channel and I have to say he's a legit guitarist and I'm all in. So I give him credit to putting this brand on my radar. So my first impression is just wow. Import guitars have come a long way since my beginning into the guitar realm. This costs $250 on Amazon, which just blows me away. So the specs of this guitar, I'll just cover the basics of it. So 24 stainless steel frets, it's 14-inch radius, it's got locking tuners. The pickups are Alnico 5. I haven't measured these myself, but the bridge on their website says 16,000 ohms and the neck is 9,000 ohms. How is the Ball Shredder Edition different than all the other Monsoons out there? This one is different because it has a maple fretboard. It has a 5-piece neck with walnut stripes and no scarf joint. Those things are on the other models, the other Monsoon. The tuners are smooth. They look nice. I mean, it doesn't look like cheap hardware. They're pretty smooth. We'll find out how well the tuning stability is here in a minute. The neck is probably the best part of this guitar, I think. This is really comfortable. I would say that this is a C to D shape, closer to D shape. It doesn't have really wide shoulders, which I like. This it fills the hand pretty well. I would say this is thin-ish. It is certainly not anywhere near Ibanez Wizard thin, but it's not a baseball bat either. It's a good happy medium. Not too big, not too much of a reach. I kind of have short fingers, so this feels pretty good to me. The frets feel nice. I've played a few import guitars with stainless steel frets, and the frets feel like 200 grit sandpaper. These aren't perfect. They're slightly gritty, but not too bad. But anyway, I'll put a polish on these and make them a little bit better. The nut is plastic. So I can't really comment on the nut yet, but we'll find out here in a few minutes. There's no fret sprout. The frets are these rounded ball end frets. I'm not necessarily on the rounded fret end bandwagon. I mean I like that there's no fret sprout. That's nice, but the frets they're a little narrower than the fretboard, so they don't go all the way to the edge. I don't really like that. I would like them to go all the way to the edge just to mitigate risk of the high E string slipping off the frets. I wish that the frets were exactly the width of the fretboard, and then just file them in the conventional way, so that there's no sprout and no sharp edges. These are okay though, but there definitely is a little bit of a space. I would expect that most guitars in this price range to have kind of meh pickups. These pickups are actually pretty good. I really don't feel the need to replace these at all. They sound great. There's no coil splitting or anything, but I'm fine with that for this kind of guitar. I like the minimalistic approach to the Monsoon model. I like that there's just one knob, one switch. The neck joint is pretty comfortable, way better than the conventional block design. My advice to Jaymz would be just don't stop innovating. I would say continue to refine this. I would love to see a little bit more of a bevel on this for the future, but this is not bad by any means. It's pretty good. The action on this is a little on the high side. So let's see here. So just a little bit more than 2 millimeter action on the 12th fret. There is some forward relief on this neck, and the nut looks to be cut on the high side. None of that's a criticism, so I will file the nut to my liking, and then adjust the neck relief. So low profile bridge, but then the saddles are like jacked way up. Ooh. Anyway, I'll tweak all that and see if I can get this action down a little bit, and I will come back toward the end of the video and show you what my findings were. As far as craftsmanship goes, I mean, the neck is awesome. The neck pocket is snug. There's no cracks around the neck pocket. The finish is like glass. My only criticism is that the finish, the coloration of the finish is not, it's a little mottled. It's kind of hard to show on camera. Yeah. You see, like right there, sorry there's glare, right there, and then there's a smaller one over here and a couple other places. It's like the dye, the coloration of the dye is like kind of thin, like they didn't, it almost reminds me of like a bleach spot on clothes. So it's not terrible. I mean, it still looks nice. It's kind of, I notice it in the room more than I notice it on camera. If this were a $2,000 guitar, I'd be upset, but for this level, I mean, I can live with that. So let's listen to some tones. So I just tuned this. I'll play it for a few minutes, and then we'll see what the tuning's like after. So definitely not, tuning stability needs a little work. That's likely nut related. Anyway, so I'm going to stop the video for a little bit. I'm going to do these things and then I'll come back. Alright, I'm back. I was out for a few hours tweaking this thing. I started off with 2 millimeters action at the 12th fret. While I was out, I lowered the, I filed the nut down to about 4/1000ths of an inch, lubed the nut, ended up tightening the truss rod a total of about 3/4 of a turn, and I attempted to lower these bridge saddles, but anytime I lowered them I was just getting fret buzz all over the place. So the action is definitely better than what it was. So I'm at about 1.5 millimeters at the 12th fret. It's better than 2, but I'll keep working with it and see if I can get that just a little bit better. Anyway, let's play it, see how it plays, see how the tuning stability is compared to where we left off. fretting out a little bit. Yep. Well, I guess I still got some work to do. Alright, it is next day. I couldn't take it and I had to address these frets. So actually many high frets. On one side or the other. So most of them I got to lay down. I have a really stubborn one though. I'm just going to push it down on one side. See that? Alright, I'm back after about a month. So the frets were in pretty rough shape on this. More than 8 frets were not level. What I found was that most of those, it's almost as if the frets were under radiused. They stuck up on either both ends or one end, and the one that I showed you earlier in the video was loose. It was like teetering back and forth. So I ended up gluing and pressing every single fret on this thing. Even with doing that, there were a couple frets that I couldn't get to seat perfectly. I probably should have pulled those frets out altogether and cleaned out the fret slot underneath it. But I didn't do that, so I just clamped it and glued it in place, and then I spot leveled the 15th fret and down. Anything above that, I actually crowned the ones that I took off some material. That solved almost all of my problem. Even with doing that though, I still had a hell of a time with this, trying to get the action down and trying to get these saddles down so they weren't sticking so far up. I'll do a video on this other guitar, but I had ordered the Monsoon Deluxe also, and I was comparing this one to that one, and they have different necks. That one just has a one-piece maple neck, and then this one has the 5-piece neck on it. So the neck dimensions are different. This one feels a little bit more thicker than that one. And I noticed that the fretboard on this one sticks up quite a bit higher than on that one. And anyway, no matter what I did, I couldn't get these saddles to adjust down without causing issues. So what I ended up doing was I took the neck off and I ended up sanding off about 1.5 millimeters off the back of the neck heel, and then I put it back on, and lo and behold, once I did that, I was able to get these things reasonably, I mean, they're not perfectly down, but they're not flat. I still have them kind of radiused to some extent, but at least they're not sticking up a mile high. Of course, when I did that, I ended up the screws were just like rubbing your hand on a cheese grater anytime you're palm muting down here. So I ended up purchasing some shorter screws. I'll put the link below. Take a look at that. That is much better. So there's no more screws sticking out. Saddles are down, and I got the action down to a little less than 1.25 millimeters on the low E string and about 1 millimeter on the high E string. This thing is dialed in now. It plays great. So let's demonstrate a few things, and we'll recheck the tuning stability once more. So my overall opinion of this guitar, it's a good guitar. The fretwork was awful on this one. The other one is fine. I don't have any of the issues that I had on this. So these are the only two Leo Jaymz guitars that I've played up to this point. So I can't really speak across the masses. But of the two that I own, this one was pretty bad. So you know, it's not really a big deal to have to like adjust a few things. That's pretty common. But as far as like the scale of the fretwork that I had to do on this thing, it's the most I've ever had to do to a new guitar. I've done plenty of leveling and crowning of nickel frets, which is easy. I've never had to do anything to this scale on stainless steel frets, and holy shit, what a pain in the ass. It sounds good, you know, stainless steel frets for $250, but if they're not going to be level, man. I mean, this guitar was reasonably playable when the action was high, but as soon as I started trying to dial the action down to my preference, it's unmasked all these problems. If I was 18-year-old Rob and I didn't have tools and I didn't know I didn't know how to do all this stuff, you know, it would kind of suck as an 18-year-old. You're just kind of stuck with this, and you know, for the amount of work that I did, I probably would have had to pay more than the guitar cost to have all this work done on all these frets. It's overall a good guitar, except for the fretwork part. But now that I put all the work into it, now it's great. This thing plays awesome. I love stainless steel frets, don't get me wrong, and it's my preference. But at this price point, if I had to choose between nickel frets that were well set up and perfectly level and crowned, versus stainless steel frets that was like this, I might opt for the nickel frets, to be honest. The other guitar I have from Leo Jaymz didn't have the problems that this one has, so I just don't know how widespread this is. Most of the videos that you see on these things have nothing, are nothing but positive things to say. So I'm not. I bought this on my own. I have nothing to do with Leo Jaymz. So this is an objective opinion. Overall, now that this thing is dialed in, I'm happy. Anyway, no offense to Leo Jaymz or the Ball Shredder. Congratulations on having your own signature guitar. I think that's really cool. Quality control at Leo Jaymz. You know, I think it's a gamble. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes these things are going to need a little bit of work. I wouldn't necessarily dissuade people from buying it. I would just say just realize you're probably going to have to put a little bit of work into it, and if you're willing to do that, I mean, you really can't go wrong for the amount of money that this costs. But if you're someone who doesn't have the tools to fix some of these problems on your own, and you had to pay somebody to do it, I don't know. Maybe think twice. I probably should have returned this to Amazon, but honestly, I didn't really check the frets over as closely as I probably should have until I started monkeying with stuff. Anyway, I'm talking too much, so thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll do that other video on the deluxe model here pretty soon. Take it easy.